Good evening, everybody. I'm a little late to the game here, but it is Monday. It is the start of the week, and I do have a be still prepared for everyone. I hope everyone had a great Easter. Christ is risen, and it's probably one of my most. It's my favorite time of the year for a lot of different reasons. One, celebrating Easter, celebrating Jesus rising from the dead, giving me life. I have life through him, salvation through him because of what he's done for me. And I'm proud to say that he lives in my heart, he lives in my mind, he lives in my soul. And so I'm just so grateful to have been able to celebrate with my family and to go to church and to celebrate with fellow believers in church yesterday. It was just a great time. So I hope everybody enjoyed their time, hopefully with their families, and getting to celebrate Jesus this past weekend. So, golf. For me, tournament season is getting ready to kind of kick off. I've already played some tournaments. I played in a program down at Kiowa. Um, I did not hit the ball well at all down there, but I had little successes here and there. Um, I really don't play any tournament golf until May, but starting in May, my hope is I'll have a tournament in May, a couple of tournaments in June, a couple of tournaments in July, a couple in August, a couple in September, and so on and so forth. And then I'll pretty much finish me up once we get to October. And for the past several years, I have kept quite a few statistics. I use a couple of different apps to keep my statistics. I've switched over to a new app, and they've been really, really helpful for me. And I mean, I track all kinds of stuff. When I'm playing a round of golf, I will track. I don't just do fairways hit and greens hit and regulation and all that. That's to me, that's very elementary. And at a professional level or someone trying to play elite golf, they need to get some really, really good data out of there. And so, we'll rest this thing right here, make it a little bit easier so maybe it's not so shaky. So, for example, if I play a round of golf, each hole, I'll hit my tee shot. And then when I get to my second shot, I'll shoot my distance or figure out what my distance to the hole is. And then I will write it down on a scorecard. And then I'll hit that shot, and then whatever my distance is to the hole from there, whether it's a putt or a chip, if it's a chip, then I'm going to put down how many yards it is, how many yards that chip is. If it's a putt, then I'll put whatever my first putt feet is. So let's say I hit the ball off the tee and I have 152 yards into the green. I'll write down 152. And then if I hit that ball into the green to 23 feet, I'll write down 23. And then if I miss the putt, and let's say I roll it 3 feet by, I'll write down plus 36 for inches. And if I make that putt, then that'll be the last number I record. Now, when I go into my app to put that in, it actually shows the hole, the entire hole, like a picture of the hole, basically. And I can drop point where all of my shots were on that. And then I can tell it, maybe I had a left to right putt from 23 feet and I ran it by. And then my next putt was uphill, right to left. Anyway, you see how in-depth it can be. But I've been keeping stats like this for a number of years now. And so I could probably go back 5 or 6 years and give you some pretty in-depth data on my game. But I do that because I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to get better. And I want to know where my weaknesses are. And since strokes gained has come around, it's been around a lot longer than I've been doing my stats, but it's obviously become kind of the way that you really can register and know where your game is and where it lies against college players, just everyday amateurs against college Division I players, or versus players on the PGA Tour. And so I use the PGA Tour as my standard. That's the highest standard possible, and I want to know where I stack up against them. Because if I can get close to where they are, then I know that for the level of competition I'm going to be at, I'm going to be in pretty good shape. Nevertheless, the strokes gained numbers I look at are off the tee, approaches, short game, which is going to be like chips, putts, anything really inside of 30 yards, and then putting. So those 4 areas. And so I'm constantly looking at those numbers. And obviously I have some areas that I'm down, and then I have some areas I'm up. I normally gain strokes in some capacity or another on my short game, so chipping and hitting shots around the green. I'm normally right about even off of the tee. On approaches, sometimes I lose shots, sometimes I gain some, and on putting, I'm normally losing some shots. So I need to know the areas that I really need to focus in. That doesn't mean the areas that I'm doing well in, I can just leave that alone and it's always going to be good. I still have to continue to practice in the same way I've been practicing those things. But for the areas in which I struggle, I've really got to be focused. I've got to maybe find out, okay, how can I do this better? Well, I'm not, I learned aim point because my putting statistics were terrible. And right as soon as I started learning the basic stuff of aim point, man, I finally started gaining strokes for like the first time ever in putting. So that was a difference maker. Learning how to read greens better, even though I knew how to read greens, learning to be better at it was huge. So what I'm telling you is you've got to be, you need to look at the things that you do well. You need to understand what those things are, and you need to continue to do those things. But you also got to look at the areas that you struggle, and you've got to put together a game plan that is going to help you improve in those areas. And it doesn't matter if it's in golf or it's in life. It's the exact same thing. And I'm going to give you an example, and I'm not going to read all of the scripture because that would take me a while. So I'm going to throw it back on you, the audience, and say, here's what you need to do. Go read the first 3 chapters of Revelation. You can do whatever with chapter 1, but read chapter 2 and chapter 3. John is talking about the 7 letters, basically, the letters to the 7 churches. And this is a vision that he got, and Jesus is talking to him and telling him what to say to these 7 churches, basically. And it's really interesting. It's a really interesting read, and obviously you can get a lot from it. But I'm going to give you a verse, and I'm going to tell you I'm going to just kind of summarize very basically those 7 letters to those churches. Here's the verse. Revelation chapter 3, verse 19. Jesus says, I correct and discipline everyone I love. So be diligent and turn from your indifference. Okay? That's the scripture I'm applying to what I was just telling you. But here's the thing. You're going to see a underlying theme with these letters to these churches, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2. When he's going through there, and he's going to first tell each church, hey, I see all the things that you do, and you've been doing this or that or whatever, and I commend you for that. You're doing a great job there. You're doing an awesome job. Keep that up. Keep doing those things. And he'll finish a paragraph, and it says, but I have this complaint against you. That's just like me looking at my statistics and saying, okay, your short game looks pretty good. Short game's where you need it to be. Your putting's, it's ebbs and flows and whatnot, but this area needs to be tightened up. You need to improve this, but I have this complaint against you. Your approach shots are just not up to snuff to give you the birdie opportunities you need to really, really score. And so I correct and discipline everyone I love. So be diligent and turn from your indifference. Don't take it personally. Look at the stats. Say, hey, I need to do this. If I want to get to wherever I want to get, I need to do this to get there. And then go to work. Be diligent. Keep working on the things that you were working on before that is helping you to perform at a high level in some areas. But then try to maybe turn over a stone of some kind. Look for ways to improve in those other areas. And as you do that, you're going to start to gain confidence. Your game's going to start to improve because you're working on the right things in the right areas. But you're going to be more prepared the next time you go out onto the golf course. And if you go through and you read the first 3 chapters of Revelation, you're going to be more prepared to go out into the real world and to apply the standard that Jesus has set for us. Not the standard that everybody else does, but the standard that Jesus has given to us. I'm using the PGA Tour as my standard for practice and playing and competition, but we need to be using Jesus' standard for our everyday life. And not a better time to do it than right now, fresh off of Easter, fresh with Jesus in our hearts and our souls and our minds. And let's go out and do that this week, and let's have an awesome week. Keep enjoying your Easter celebration, and look forward to seeing y'all again another week on Be Still.